Hello everybody and welcome back to another new video. It's me, Will, and this is going to be my wrap up of the year. So kind of like my favorite things from 2023 as well as what I look forward to in 2024. Just wrapping up the year, I guess, with my one final video of the year. And I wasn't quite planning on doing a video like this. I don't think I've ever done something like this in my channel. But I was kind of inspired by the podcast from Steve Carlson. He has a great podcast that he runs with a record store owner called Two Guys Talking About Records. Excellent podcast, by the way, from Steve. It's really interesting to see the two perspectives, the perspective from the record store owner as well as the perspective from the record collector or the record buyer. Lots of really great conversations from two guys talking about records. But anyways, just a few days ago, they posted their last podcast of the year, and where they did something like this. So they talked about their favorite records of the year, their favorite reissues, their favorite box sets, and things like that. So I was thinking about doing something similar to that in this video, maybe with a little bit of a twist. So let's see how it goes. Anyways, let's get started first. What I've been spinning to in the last few days. So, of course, last weekend was Christmas, and I had some family in town. I had my parents-in-law as well as my parents coming to visit here at my house. And of course, I was DJ. I have a turntable upstairs in the dining room, so I was spinning some records and CDs. Of course, Christmas themed, and I had to go with my classics for Christmas, my mixes from DJ Trish. Thanks again to DJ Trish for always sending the Christmas mixes. This one's Christmas 2020. I think her newest ones from 2023 are a little bit delayed because she has been sick in the last few days. But anyways, I've been spinning some of the old ones. This is Christmas 2022, and I've also been spinning Christmas 2019. And you cannot go wrong with any of the mixes from Trish. Just check out that track list right there in this one. Great mixes for the holidays. Lots of great and fun Christmas songs to really get you in that kind of Christmas mood. Some other things that I've been spinning to during Christmas, of course, has been both my parents and my parents-in-law are from the same generation, from the Boomer generation. So they're big fans of classic rock. And I've been spinning some of this for them. This one is the Rolling Stones. This is the greatest hits compilation called Hot Rocks, 1964 to 1971. And it came out on London Records. This is one of their first greatest hits compilation. This is also, by the way, one of the first records that I bought when I told myself that I was going to start a record collection on vinyl quite a few years ago. So greatest hits, of course, is not something that I normally like to play, but in this kind of situation where I have family in town, they probably want to hear just the hits from the Rolling Stones, and this is the record to play all the hits. Just look at the track list right there. It has pretty much all the classic songs from the Rolling Stones. And then I also spun some Linda Ronstadt, and this is Hand Sewn, Homegrown. I think that's what it's called, yeah. And this one came out on Capitol Records in 1969. And there's the labels. And speaking of Linda Ronstadt, I also spun this one right here during the holidays. This one's called Stony End, Linda Ronstadt and the Stone Ponies. I believe this is a compilation of all her work that she did with the Stone Ponies before she went solo. And there's the label. Came out on Capitol Records. You really cannot go wrong with the music from Linda Ronstadt from back in the 60s and 70s. Her voice is just so beautiful, and to me it goes really well with the holidays. And lastly, another record that I spun during the holidays. Like I said before, I had my parents and my parents-in-law in town. They're huge fans of classic rock, so I had to spin this one. This is the Beatles' #1 hits, a compilation that came out back in 2000. So it has all the #1 hits from the Beatles. And I rarely will play greatest hits compilations, But when I do, it's in situations like this, right? Kind of like social situations with people that just want to listen to the big hits or the more popular songs from the bands. My mom was a huge Beatlemaniac back in the day, so she really appreciated listening to some of the classic hits from the Beatles. My favorite album, or favorite new album of the year, I talked about this in my last video, of course, with my top 10 albums of 2023, but my number one album was Jeff Rosenstock with Hell Mode. Fantastic new record from Jeff, and by far my favorite in his whole discography. Just a great punk rock record, a fun punk rock record. Anyways, in case you haven't seen my top 10 albums of 2023, I'll put a link here in the description. I talked all about this record on my favorite 10 albums from 2023. One funny thing that happened after I posted my video with my top 10 albums of the year was that right after I posted my video, I saw that Anthony Fantano, also known as the Needle Drop here in YouTube, he's by far the most popular music critic in the internet and in YouTube. He also listed his top albums of the year, and I usually will not have that much stuff in common with Anthony Fantano's music, taste in music. He seems to be more into more modern hip-hop and rap. But anyways, his number one album of the year, also Jeff Rosenstock with Hell Mode, which I thought it was a very interesting coincidence because right after I posted mine, he posted his. So we do have a little bit in common, I guess. So next topic, my favorite concerts of the year. So maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, I used to make videos in my channel where I covered all my top 10 or top 20 concerts that I went to in Atlanta of the year and kind of do like a little countdown video. But I stopped doing that because it's just very time consuming to edit all the concert footage. And it's just a little bit difficult to make. So what I was thinking about doing this year is that I was gonna do my top 20 list of my top 20 concerts from Atlanta from 2023, but I was gonna put it in written form in my blog in Substack, which is something that I just recently started doing just a few months ago. Which it's gonna serve kind of like a like an addition to my channel. So something that I don't want to make a full video about, I'll put it in my Substack blog, which I'll put a link in the description once I have that up posted. But anyways, my favorite concert of the year was the Screaming Females. They played live at the Earl. I think it was back in May of this year. Amazing concert from the Screaming Females. I'm gonna go ahead and put a clip of that show right now. So as you can see, it was a fantastic punk rock show, very guitar driven. The band was really at the top of their game. Amazing concert, very high energy kind of show. And it was difficult for me to see the footage from this concert because I also, well, as I mentioned in my last video, the Screaming Females broke up just a few weeks ago. So that will be the last time that I will get to see the Screaming Females live, which is really sad because they were just a fantastic band live and on records as well. I felt like the records were getting better and better progressively. But anyways, that's their decision, and hopefully they will be back, at least some of the band members, with a different project sometime soon. I think Marissa, the singer from the band, she recently announced a new project that I have to check out still. All right, the next topic is the reissue of the year. To me, was this one right here, Sunny Day Real Estate, with their 1994 album Diary. And this one came out, or was repressed by Sub Pop Records in 2023. And they came in with a nice gatefold, as well as a really nice booklet with an interview of the band and a little write-up about the recording of the record. Came in on black vinyl, double LP. Great sounding record. This one has, I was looking at the Discogs, and it has been repressed in the past, both in 2009 and 2017. But still, it was really difficult to find this record on vinyl. So when I saw it at the record store earlier this year, when I went to see them live in Austin, Texas, I had to pick this one up because it's been one of my favorite emo albums for a very, very long time. And I always wanted to have it on vinyl. Like I said before, an amazing, very intense type of emo record. I think there's a little bit of a stigma about the emo genre. A lot of bands don't like to be called emo, but this is really good emo. Great, very emotional type of vocals, intense guitars, and also a very, very sad type of record. Still to this day, I have a hard time listening to this record. It's a very hard listen because it's just so sad, and the emotional level in the vocals of the singer is just so high. To me, I have to really be in the right mood, or I guess in the wrong mood, to listen to this kind of record. But anyways, it's a fantastic emo record, perhaps the best emo album ever made. Again, Sunny Day Real Estate with Diary from 1994. That's my reissue of the year. All right, up next is going to be my favorite blind buy of the year, and it is the Georgia Satellites. This is a self-titled record, the debut album from the Georgia Satellites, and it came out back in 1986 on Elektra Records. And I'm a little bit ashamed to say that I did not know much about the Georgia Satellites because they were actually a pretty big band, and they are from here in Georgia, but I never owned this record, and I didn't know much about them until I saw this record back in a few months ago at the record show, the Atlanta Record Show. And yeah, the cover, of course, looked familiar. And the thing is that I learned about this band when usually there's a lot of bands that come into town, they play concerts, and they will cover songs from the Georgia Satellites because they're here in Georgia. And for some reason, I never dove into their discography. I never went in to listen to their records or anything like that. So finally, I decided to pull the trigger. I bought this one sort of blindly. I went back home and I listened to it, and I loved this record. And of course, I recognized a few of the tracks here, especially the song "Keep Your Hands to Yourself." That was a big hit of the record. Along as a few other tracks here that I also recognized. Great rock and roll album, very guitar driven, just right up my alley, and glad that I picked this one up. Again, my blind buy of the year is the Georgia Satellites. All right, next topic is my favorite box set release of 2023. I had to go with Green Day's Dookie box set. 30th anniversary of Dookie. This thing is heavy. It has 6 records, I think, the whole thing. 2 live records. You get the full album, you get the outtakes record, as well as the demo record. Fantastic box set. Green Day released a couple of box sets this year. This one and the one for Nimrod. I think I liked this one a little bit better. I think it was a little bit better made. It has a little bit more content, more songs. And the booklet that they included for this one is fantastic. A great booklet written by Bob Maher. He did the whole biography on the Replacements. Would be great to see a full book about Green Day in the near future. Anyways, this box set is fantastic. It does have a few elements of cash grabbiness with, there's, for example, the outtakes record. Maybe it didn't need to be a full record on vinyl. Maybe they could have included that as part of maybe like a digital only, or the CD, a CD included in the box. Either way, it has lots of great material that all Green Day fans will enjoy. The box set of Dookie 30th anniversary is my box set of the year. All right, so usually in my channel, I try to keep to the more positive note, but I had to include my disappointments of the year, my disappointment of the year. And to me, it was the new Blink-182 album. I was actually pretty excited to hear that Tom DeLonge was rejoining the band after many years being after leaving the band, because I thought that that was the essence or the very spirit of Blink-182, and maybe they would go back to that kind of like rawness or raw energy of the punky type of style that they did back in the 90s and the early 2000s all the way to the 2010s. Unfortunately, that was not the case. The new record, One More Time, to me was the biggest disappointment of the year. It does have a couple of good tracks in the record, but overall it's just produced really badly. I think I was at Target a few days ago and I picked up the CD just to look at the credits, and I saw that it was produced by Travis Barker. And to me, that made a lot of sense that it was produced by Travis. The whole thing is just drowned in effects. The guitars don't even sound like guitars anymore. The vocals are all auto-tuned. I could not get into that record. There are a couple of tracks that I did enjoy, but overall the record was just a huge disappointment to me. And don't get me wrong, I still think that Blink-182 is a good band. I like Blink-182. I have most of the records on CD. And I actually went to see them on this tour, the One More Time tour. And by the way, they were great. Without all those effects, playing live, they were fantastic. They put a great show. Alright, and the last topic to wrap up the 2023 part of this video, my last pickup of the year is this one right here, The Replacements, Pleased to Meet Me. This is the box set edition that came out in 2020 on Sire Records. Originally, of course, Pleased to Meet Me came out back in 1987. So when it came out in 2020, it was a little bit pricey, so I decided to wait a little bit until the price went down. I finally, 3 years later, I found it for a good price, and I pulled the trigger. I had to buy it because the price was too good to pass. Brand new, and I still have it in the shrink wrap. I haven't opened this one yet, so I haven't listened to it. So I'm going to talk about this one maybe in a future video. But anyways, The Replacements have been putting a few box sets of their classic records in the last few years. I'm trying to get all of them, but I'm waiting a little bit to see if the prices will go down a little bit more before I actually buy them. But of course I had to buy this one. It's my favorite record from The Replacements. You can't go wrong with this one. It has Alex Chilton, it's got The Ledge, Can't Hardly Wait, Skyway, just some of the best songwriting from Paul Westerberg in this record. Again, this is the deluxe edition of the box set version of Pleased to Meet Me. So it has the raw mixes in the vinyl that is included in the box set. And it has a lot of demos and extra tracks and raw mixes and outtakes on 3 CDs of the box as well. So again, I'll be talking about this one in a future video. Alright, and just to wrap up the video, a few things that I'm excited about or what I look forward to in 2024. Of course, it's going to be the new Green Day record. Saviors is going to come out just in a few weeks, in January 19th of 2024. The 3 songs that are out on streaming services from the new record are absolutely fantastic. I loved everything about those 3 tracks. Super fun, upbeat songs, very Green Day type of songs. Anyways, really looking forward to that. I plan to do at least a few videos about the new record when it comes out, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, also they're gonna be touring quite a bit next year, alongside the Smashing Pumpkins and Rancid and the Linda Lindas in the US as well as in Europe. I already have tickets to go see them in 2 of those shows here in the US. I'll be seeing them here in Atlanta as well as in Philadelphia this summer. Super excited about that too, because it is the anniversary tour for both Dookie, the 30th anniversary, as well as American Idiot, the 20th anniversary of American Idiot. So I assume that they're going to be playing a lot of deep tracks from those 2 records. So yeah, super stoked about that tour. I also got tickets to go see Sleater-Kinney. They just released a couple of, or 1 track from their new record. It is great, although the last couple of Sleater-Kinney records have been a little bit of a disappointment to me. I always loved seeing them live. I think their live energy is top-notch in my opinion. So I got tickets to go see them live in their next tour. I also got tickets to go see Tommy Stinson just next week. He's going to be doing a solo show here in a brewery close by where I live. And yeah, of course, he released a great album with his Cowboys in the Campfire last year. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna try to get that record signed by Tommy during that show. I'll make an update in a later video once after I see the show, of course. And lastly, two pop punk powerhouses are playing a show here in Atlanta next year, MXPX and alongside the Ataris. Two of my favorite pop punk bands from back in the 90s and the early 2000s. They're coming in and playing a huge show here at the Buckhead Theater. Really, really excited about that show. This is kind of like a nostalgia type of show for everybody that grew up during the pop punk and emo movement from the 90s and early 2000s. Those are two huge bands, by the way. But anyways, really looking forward to that. Anyways, that was my wrap-up of 2023, what I look forward to in 2024. Let me know in the comments what your plans are for next year, what you love the most about 2023. Let me know here in the comments, or feel free to make a video about that as well. I'll be back next year, and see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.